Hi, I'm Janet Fielding. I played Tegan in Doctor Who. The Fiveish Fangirls. Have a good time.
The Tangents we continue all the way to episode 426 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast, and we're back. And oh my goodness, the news has gotten a little piled up. Kind of like when you forget to put your mail on hold when you go on vacation. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you could join us. Let's start off like we do with the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
We're back. So sorry about that. Did not mean to have to take a couple weeks off, but stuff happened. Like, you know how recently parts of the country have been having like those air quality warnings where they're like, don't go outside because the air is bad. We've had a few of those and it hasn't really bothered me until 2 weeks ago. Where it got really bad and I felt just awful for several days. Like, it hurt to keep my eyes open. It was bad. It was not.
Was it nice?
Do not recommend at all. And then by the time I was feeling better, it was time for me to go camping on my annual camping trip. So.
Well, at least did you get out of the bad air, or was
I did at least? Yeah,
Good.
it was. The air was nicer, and it was also cooler. It was about 10 degrees cooler than it has been here. So, I will take the reprieve. So,
I am hoping for the same next week when we go to the lake.
Yeah,
it's up further north, and it tends to be a bit cooler up there.
yeah. It's like we've had several of these days where it's like you look outside and it just looks kind of like slightly out of focus. Like maybe they put the Barbara Walters filter on the outside.
Yeah,
but it's never like, I know other people, they're like, yeah, I couldn't go out, just walking to the mailbox and coming back, it was like awful. And I was like, it's not really bothered me, but yeah, the couple weekends ago, it got really bad. It hung around like a blanket that you don't want on you. So
pretty much
0 stars, would not recommend.
Exactly.
At all. So yeah, when they tell you that the air quality is bad and you should not go outside,
they mean it.
They mean it.
Is it still because Canada's on fire, or is this something else?
At this point, I think it's a combination of that and just climate change. So
Yep.
I know in
just
Salt
one of
Lake,
those things.
Winter and parts of summertime we get inversion, which is been that's because we're in a bowl-shaped valley, and the cold, or the, I have to remember, is it the cold air or the hot air that gets trapped? Anyway, the air gets trapped by one or the other.
Well, generally warm air rises, but
yes, but it's in the wintertime, I don't know, the cold air gets trapped because it is so stinking cold. And all the gunk just sits until we get like a snowstorm that kind of churns it all out. But sometimes we get the problem in the summer too. So, I don't know. It's one of those things that's like happen because we also live by a really gross, smelly Salt Lake. There's a reason. and it just gives off this miasma just naturally, and part of that, so it's pollution, but part of it too is the lake too. So I was like, okay, I know what our excuse is, but what's your guys'?
Yeah.
Because I knew Canada was on fire a couple months ago. I have not been keeping up with the news. I've been a wee bit busy.
Yeah. Well, the news has been busy, but we'll we'll get to that. We're going to do things a little out of order because our focus this week is the news.
Yes.
So first, we're going to do feedback.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we've got some feedback from Shelley. And she says, referring to our last episode, which was a Queen-centric episode, said, funny that this episode launches a date before the release date anniversary of this album you girls talked about. We may have done that on purpose.
Yep.
Sometimes the calendar works out that way. Sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it works in our favor.
It was engineered such.
Yes. So I do try to pay attention to these things. Sometimes. It says, I want to read the Labyrinth manga and the other manga too. I do like manga, but one that they do of Disney and others. I also have read the Buffy the Vampire. So yes, the Boom Comics Labyrinth, which is not a manga. This is a graphic comic that we cried over for our wallets last episode. The Kickstarter launched.
Yep.
And it was fully funded in 15 minutes. Yep.
My shock face.
And
show you it.
yeah, and some of that money is mine. Because I did get it on day one, and that included the limited edition day one only collectible pin. So that you could only order if you backed on within the first 24 hours. So yeah. So I'm excited. I've been enjoying the update emails coming from Kickstarter.
Those are always great when you
there's lots of labyrinth references in them. So between that and the Monty Python RPG that I backed ages ago, and the updates contain all sorts of Monty Python references. Been very amusing Kickstarters I've been backing recently, and the update emails are quite entertaining. So at least they try to entertain you instead of just sending a boring update email. So
it's like, hey, so this is the part we're working on, and then this other part, and the end. There's your monthly update, which is cheap.
Yep.
Oh, Flair never hurt anybody?
Yep. There's that. So speaking of David Bowie and British artists, have you girls watched the documentary about David Bowie called Moon Age Daydream on HBO Max? I saw it in the theaters. But yes, I have seen it. I wouldn't call it so much a documentary as if you took the essence of David Bowie and somehow made it into film strip and then played it on a projector for people. Because it's not like, oh, David Bowie was born on this day, here, and he, his parents were blah, 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 and they grew up in this type of house, and, he started school here, and his childhood best friend, and then, his teenage years, and then all that. It's not like that type of documentary. It really is just kind of stream of consciousness if it was David Bowie. It's probably what the inside of David Bowie's brain looked like and felt like, would be my guess. So it's very entertaining. I mean, if you like David Bowie and you get David Bowie, then you'll probably find it entertaining. But if you're not someone that's very into like maybe more avant-garde type stuff, you might be like, this is weird. Who did this? Andy Warhol or what? But it's quite entertaining. So I enjoyed it. So fun fact says David Bowie didn't get in the first Guardians movie. Song Moon Age Daydream got on Awesome X Volume 1. Forgot to mention that when you girls talked about Volume 3. Yes. That is why his music is in Awesome Mix. So ever since we got a movie about Queen and Whitney Houston, I was wondering if there will ever be a movie about David Bowie, but I guess a documentary on HBO is good enough. I mean, eventually, probably someone will tackle Bowie the same way they've done with Freddie Mercury and Elton John and Whitney Houston. I have no idea who would play David Bowie.
That's just it.
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
Oh, but there's some unknown actor out there that just we haven't heard of yet that would make a really good David Bowie. So time will I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Just time. It just takes time. It says, me and Chrissy used to have a dog named Scout. Yes, I remember you having Scout. Now on with Queen. I went back and watched the movie Bohemian Rhapsody and still wondering, I think she means wondering if Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury, lip sync or sounds like he lip synced. That is not Rami Malek singing. That is someone else's voice singing. The speaking is Rami Malek, but the singing is someone else. So. And she says, because to me, it sounds like he's lip syncing. Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And it is totally okay for actors to do that. I know there's this sort of thing like, oh, they gotta do the singing. It's like, well, if they can't sing, if lip syncing, in a movie or whatever, it's totally fine. Like, because if, Emma Watson getting auto-tuned, let's have a little less of that, please.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's like, I don't know if Rami Malek can carry a tune or not. He might be able to, but that doesn't mean he can sound like Freddie Mercury.
Right. Yeah.
Freddie Mercury's sound
that's the other
very distinctive. Mm-hmm. He's not one you can replicate easy.
No.
So if you can find someone that sounds like Freddie, but doesn't look like Freddie, then you get the person who looks like Freddie to lip sync to the person who sounds like Freddie. The other artists you can, maybe are still very distinctive, but just not the vocal range and specific sound and tone that Freddie. That's why, like, Taron Egerton was able to get away singing while playing Elton John because he sounds close enough. Because Elton John, everyone knows his voice. It's not the same. It's like comparing, like, no offense to Elton John, but he's like, classic, like a classic, like steak and potatoes or something. And Freddie Mercury is like the most exotic, like dish you could think of,
top of the line steak dinner.
Yeah.
Or your preferred
Freddie has
meal
very
of choice.
Voice. That's probably why. Probably why it took so long to make a biopic about Freddie Mercury, because it's like, well, who the heck do you get to even play him? Because
right, and good on Brian and Roger for being as picky as they were.
I know that film was actually in like development hell for quite a while, and for the longest time it was Sacha Baron Cohen who was tied to it, which looks wise I think he could pull it off,
and
I know he can sing, but again I don't think he sounds anything like Freddie, so even if they've gone with Sacha Baron Cohen,
the antics that Sacha would get up to, I don't know how well he would have done the portrayal.
He's matured since then, from what I feel like, from what I understand, but
he's like famous enough that it's like, I see Sacha Baron Cohen and not Freddie Mercury.
That could be a lot of it too. Remy, unless you were a diehard fan of Mr. Robot, you probably really didn't know who Rami Malek was.
Yeah, that's the thing with biopics for me. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I'm like, if I want to see a movie about, a famous person or a person from history or whatever, I want to go to the movie and see that person in the show. I don't want to see the actor playing them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, there's some of them that I'm like, it just feels like, no, I can't do this. Sorry, but I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think if we ever get a David Bowie film like that, it'll probably be some lesser known actor.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. And more than likely, if it's anything like some of those other bio movies, the way they've gone, then more than likely David's son and his widow Amon will probably have a lot of say in it. So
oh yeah, and
it's like
really
even Elton John was really involved with Rocket Man. So
yeah,
this is a movie about me.
Yeah, it's like if the person is still alive, yes, let them have a say. If their family is still around, but the person is not, then let the family have a say.
Or their bandmates in the case of Freddie.
Yep. Oh, that too. Yeah, like the people who knew him, like
yes,
they don't necessarily have to write the whole script, but it would be a courtesy to say, hey, are we getting this right?
Mm-hmm. Very much. So, dear Hollywood.
Okay. Well, we know you're a little. We know you got some crap going on, and
yeah. When you get your crap figured out, please email us.
Sitting over here watching YouTube.
Since I've been watching a little bit of An American Tail and Land Before Time, the only movies that make me sad, I don't know why, because they're sad. That's why.
They're sad. Yes. Like, come on.
You don't have to ask why, because your feelings are completely valid. In fact, I know. I said something to Chauncey a couple weeks ago about how when I watch Return of the King, even 20 years later, it makes me bawl like a baby for the last 20 minutes of the film. And he was like, really? And I'm like, yep. I'm like, you don't, it just does. I'm not gonna ask why. Yes. It just does. So
heck, when I read the book and it's like, okay, Sauron's defeated, spoilers, and everybody's going home, and in the book there's just sort of this long drawn out. I mean, people complain about Return of the King having a million endings. Read the book sometimes. And it's like, and it's like, and Aragorn, they stayed behind, but Gimli and Legolas went with them, but then Gimli had to say goodbye, and Legolas went this way, and then they went and said farewell at Edoras, and then finally it's just the four little hobbits going into the Shire, which is kind of in a lot of trouble, which is cut from the movie, probably a good thing. But yeah, it just kind of like the fellowship just slowly dwindles down. It's like, okay, we're dropping you off, and we're dropping you off, and we're like, but I love these guys. I don't want you to go away, but they have to because the story is at an end. But remember what Gandalf said, so we'll not say, do not weep, for not all tears are an evil.
Makes you kind of wonder if Peter Jackson maybe has some Midwest roots, and somehow the idea of a Midwest goodbye.
Yeah. Well, all countries have a Midwest, so who knows?
That's true. All planets have a north. All places have a Midwest. Dear Peter Jackson, is there equivalent of a Midwest goodbye in Midwest New Zealand?
I mean, people. I see that about the Midwest thing. I'm just like, I was like, you have not been in Utah on a Sunday after church is over, and it takes people forever to leave.
It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Same thing.
As a native Midwesterner, I hate the Midwest goodbye. So
yeah, it's like, can I just sneak out?
Like, Mom, Dad, it's time to go. Or, everybody's standing in the hallway talking like, okay, my children are very grumpy. We need to get going because we need lunch.
This cooler is getting heavy on my shoulder. Can we please go?
That too. So, yes, the long drawn out goodbye. It is a thing in a lot of places.
So let's see. She says, I never cry when watching movies like Steel Magnolias or she meant New Girl. I think she meant My Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Girl's like a show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was just a type. That was just a autocorrect, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. Now going back to happy thoughts, I chose to go see Barbie over Dial of Destiny. I watched the reviews of Dial of Destiny. Also, Oppenheimer is a Christopher Nolan film. It might be a hit and miss like his last one. I mean, all things considering, from what I understand, Oppenheimer is very, very good. It's not making the money that Barbie is, but I don't think that has anything to say about the quality of the film, because Chauncey said something the other day. I said I think it's audience and butts and seats. Barbie, you can take Barbie more of the family too.
Well, not really. I mean, I've heard things that
it's PG-13, right?
It is PG-13, and I've heard things like, I am not taking my children to see it. But then again, my children are very little,
but
and I don't think they get it.
Yeah, you could take teens and up, so you're still going to get a slightly larger demographic.
Also, it was marketed as a very cheerful, bubbly.
That
too. It's going to be just a fun time movie.
And but from what I understand, Oppenheimer is very, very good, but it's definitely a like Oscar baity movie. I mean, it's historical. It's Christopher Nolan. It's 3 hours long.
The 3 hours is gonna play a part because theaters can only show it so many times in the day.
That too.
So you're already, but it is Christopher Nolan, which is probably why they put it in summer and not like at the end of the year when they usually do all those big, award bait movies. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I've heard a lot of reviews, and I am interested in seeing it, but I don't know that I will get away to see it in theaters, which is a shame because I've heard it's great in IMAX. I've also heard that there's less politics in it than there are in Barbie, which that made me laugh after I heard the Barbie synopsis. And I was like, and it's a movie about the guy who built the atomic bomb.
What do you expect?
Right.
Like,
with RDJ in it? I mean,
Yeah. But so
I haven't had a chance to see either yit, and I'm just
I haven't either.
Yeah, I don't know. There was always something off about like with the marketing for Barbie. I was just kind of like, there's something they're not telling us here, and I want to hear what the reviews and stuff say first, because
everything I've heard is it's really, really good. So that's not coming from critics; those are from people who have similar taste to me. So
what I've heard is like Ken is actually the hero, but he gets slammed down instead, and I'm just like, oh well, that's not what that's like. Not interested. But
I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Gosling anyway, so that's no skin off my teeth.
Anyway, but Oppenheimer sounds interesting if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, not everybody's into like
it's going to be I
stuff.
can guarantee Oppenheimer's probably going to be at least, whenever they happen, the Academy Awards, because again, Hollywood has got stuff happening right now. Whenever the Academy Awards happen, I would say right now Oppenheimer is going to be at least 5 nominations.
Oh, I bet it's getting nominated for stuff, but then again, it's when they're done striking, then but who knows when that will be. I've heard now that it could even go into Christmas.
Yep.
So we'll see, and stuff's getting moved back, which maybe we'll talk about in the news. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. And she follows up and says, so I think I figured out the popcorn flicks this summer and in the past. Transformers, The Flash, Jurassic World Dominion, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Well, maybe. And Pirates. I know your girls said that the Avengers and Star Wars aren't popcorn flicks. Well, I mean, they are, but they're not. Again, popcorn, it's relative. It's a matter of opinion, I think.
Yeah, original Star Wars were, they were, that's the origin of, the blockbuster summer movie, or the summer blockbuster movie, really.
Actually, that would be Jaws.
Oh, well, okay. It's in there, right?
Well, Jaws came first.
Well, Jaws came first, but Star Wars kind of solidified it.
Yes.
Yes, because people were lining up around the block to see it. So you've got those that, now we call them tentpole movies because the studios dump millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in the hopes that they will make millions and millions and millions of dollars. Whether or not they succeed, who knows? So it's either blockbuster or tentpole. Then you have the ones that are slightly smaller, which I think is what they mean by popcorn flicks, which are fun, but they don't make a big deal out of it or don't overhype it so much. So they're like a little not really flying under the radar, but they get a little less attention, and then people will go see them and they're like, hey, that's a good, that's a fun little popcorn flick movie. It's fun, it's interesting, it appeals to a wide variety of people, and maybe it's not very, thought-provoking or heavy, but hey, we had fun with it, and that's why we go to the movies, to be entertained and have fun. So that's what the popcorn flick is. And then you have, well, okay, there's probably some other categories in here, but there's the award bait, which is all the stuff you see getting nominated at the Oscars, because that was what it was made for. It was not necessarily made to make money, although there are some exceptions to that. But those are the ones that they're going for awards. And I don't know, there's probably some other categories or descriptors that we could throw in there, but I don't know, I guess the family friendly kid movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm making stuff up here on the fly.
Yeah.
It's not a hard and fast thing.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yep. But that is the end of Shalane's feedback.
All right.
And that's all the feedback we have. So next, let's do just a little bit of housekeeping. With some convention-related stuff and a few other things. So, some con updates. For those that attended PopCon Louisville, if you went over by the kids area and came across our friend John Graham and did one of his create your own character comic book sheets. What he does is he takes those, scans them, and then puts them together in a book.
Oh, cool.
That you can then buy.
Nice.
So it's got, and he does it he's been doing it for the last few cons. So I'll have a link to it on Amazon, but it contains all the art that he got at Louisville. I did one myself.
Neat.
So
Very
kids
cool.
of all ages, you can probably guess what my character was.
Was it corgi themed?
Yeah.
So
It
did
may
you
have been a
actually
corgi.
draw it, or
Yeah.
how did that work? Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's got a sheet, and you got a designated spot to draw your character. And then you got a spot where you can fill out like the character's name, and stuff like that. And then he does all the scanning and formatting and puts them in this book. So it's got all those, plus there's some journaling pages. So if you went to the convention, you can write what your experience at the convention was like. And then some blank pages so you can do your own.
Nice.
So yeah, but the Louisville one is now available. You can see some of the pages on Amazon, but not a whole lot of them, because apparently it's 87 pages. So
Wow.
That's a decent amount.
Well, yeah, decent book.
Yep. So you can go purchase that. And then Indie PopCon, we got some more guest announcements. A lot more anime voiceover actors, so I have no idea who those people are. I recognize the names of some of the animes that they're part of, but I wouldn't know them from anything if they walked up to me. So but you can go look at the list. Sorry.
Yeah.
But names I do recognize, Roger Bumpus, aka Squidward, from SpongeBob.
Why am I not surprised
coming...
that his last name is Bumpus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming, Diddy Pop Dog.
Yeah.
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 I'm sure he's a lovely human being. Just he plays Squidward and his last name is Bumpus. So.
Yeah.
Bumpus.
And then for you Gilmore Girls fans, that if you did not make it to Louisville, do not fret, because Scott Patterson is going to be gracing us with his presence again. So if you did not get to meet Luke in Louisville, you can meet Luke in Indianapolis. So there's that. And then Salt Lake Fan X, they're kind of trickling down on the announcements.
Yeah,
the deluge has passed.
Close.
Yeah. But Allison Duty from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
The woman who had both father and son.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Even
and
if
that
she's
joke
a Nazi.
went right over the head of most 10-year-olds when they heard it, but then you hear it when you're an adult and you're like,
ooh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. Like, should I be impressed or disgusted? Maybe a little both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then a couple gold standard updates. Our July Patreon episode is in there for those that wish to become patron supporters. We talk about the 2019, I think that's right, 2019 movie Sound of Metal. And then our latest regular Best Picture winner is in the feeds, where we talk about Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh.
So, and we might go on a little tangent about Bollywood type music. So so there is that. So let's get on to Zen News. Well, it's stacked up a little bit. We did just have Fandom Christmas recently,
the truncated version where they go back to comics, because
the
actors and studios are a little bit not available right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not
I know a lot of
each
people
other.
who are excited
anything
for Comic-Con
TV and film
Comic-Con
related got the kibosh put on it.
Yep.
So yeah, we don't have our usual Fandom Christmas dump truck of news, but we still have some stuff to cover from our fandoms. Although first up, we have some 10 o'clock news.
Yeah,
unfortunately, Paul Rubens, aka Pee-wee Herman, has passed away at the age of 70 due to cancer.
and yeah, it was weird because I was just kind of checking Twitter a little bit today during my lunch break, and people were like posting all these Pee Wee Herman memes and gifs and stuff, and I was like, okay, what? But they weren't saying anything in them, and I'm like, what's going on? And then finally, someone posted a link of the news, and I was like, oh, it makes me so sad because when I was a kid, I watched Pee Wee Herman religiously on Saturday morning cartoons, and he was a blast. He was a trip.
Yeah.
It's like I watched the movies, and then then he quit doing Pee Wee Herman, and then he started acting, doing voice acting. I think most of the time, and it was just kind of interesting to see him go from Pee Wee Herman to doing other roles, and he just kind of flew under the radar a little bit here and there, but then he'd pop up in a movie or a show or something, or just I know they were doing some kind of some Pee Wee Herman thing on Broadway, or not really not really a
They did it,
musical,
yeah.
but
It did a series of shows at the Hollywood Bowl
yeah.
several years ago because a friend of mine, acquaintance, her husband and his brother own I've mentioned them before. They own a puppetry studio, and they were hired to do some of the construction of some of our favorite characters from Pee Wee's Playhouse for those shows at the Hollywood Bowl. So
nice.
Yeah.
So they were partially involved in bringing back Cherry and all of them. So
I will tell you, it kind of blew my mind when I finally read Terry the Pterodactyl's name written out, and I was like, wait, it has a silent P, just like pterodactyl. Obviously, I was like 4 or 5 when the show was on TV, or I was very young, so I wouldn't have thought of that. And then I was reading some article about the show or something, and I'm like, wait a minute, oh duh. And I felt very dumb, but at the same time, it's like, okay, that's actually kind of clever.
Yeah. And
but
Paul
also,
Rubens.
oh,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chrissy. I'll let you finish.
I was going to say also, apparently the Alamo, they posted a little thing today, say a little tribute to him, because in Pee Wee's Great Adventure, he goes to the Alamo and he has to ask for the basement. And there is no basement at the Alamo, but apparently people keep asking for the basement at the Alamo because of that movie. And the post was like, it's very sweet and endearing. There's not a basement at the actual Alamo, but there is one under the gift shop. So yeah.
Okay. And Paul Rubens could do drama very well. His guest stint in Gotham as, I believe, the Penguin character's father was just completely awesome. Perfect casting.
Yes. It's just kind of just a great character actor, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yep.
It is sad news. It seems that he had cancer for the last 6 years, and I think this is so sweet. Like he actually wrote a farewell post to be posted in the event of his passing, and just saying, accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing. I felt a huge amount of love and respect for my friends, fans, and supporters. I have loved you all so much, enjoyed making art for you. So I'm like, I mean, it sucks when someone passes away, whether it's a someone, a family member, a friend, or a celebrity that you followed, or was a part of your childhood. But to have a last little message from them in this, it's like it's sad, but it also kind of helps with the coming to terms with it and things. And so I don't know, I feel for him having to deal with cancer for all these years now, but at the same time, you left behind some great memories. So rest in peace, for sure. Now I want to go watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Such a fun. It's one of those movies. It's like it doesn't seem like it has a plot. It kind of doesn't, but it's just so fun to watch. It was a good time.
Yeah. Go what? If you
loner
can, go
daddy.
what? Go watch
Rebel.
go watch the TV show and see if you can spot a certain future resident of the Matrix.
Yeah.
That too.
Mm-hmm. Or a certain agent, right? Or am I wrong actor?
Yeah, wrong actor.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they could almost. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. So let's move on to some happier stuff, starting with some news from Marvel. So today, actually, we got a trailer for Loki season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Indiana Jones adjacent actors, who is now part of the MCU but Short Round.
Yes, I loved it. His responses were so.
I think I was on Twitter or maybe it was Instagram. I don't remember. And it started auto playing, and I didn't have my sound on, so I turned the sound up. And I hear this voice, and of course on my phone it's kind of small. I'm like, wait a minute, is that Ji Kwan?
It is. Good ears.
Lo and behold.
So yeah.
I think his stock has gone up somewhat.
Oh yeah.
I think so. So now he's officially part of the MCU, so that's exciting. So, and once they get around to it, I mean, Harrison Ford's going to be part of the MCU. Granted, he's taking over a role for someone else, but still,
it's all connected.
So it's all good. But yeah, Loki coming soon, October. I'm excited.
Yes.
So, and judging by the comments, so is everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think we've missed that team up.
Yeah. So I think people are ready for a little more Hiddles and Wilson there. So
yep.
It sounds like the name of a indie folk band, Hiddles and Wilson.
Uh-huh.
Watch out, Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Garfunkel and Oates.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, October 6th. And then we got a new trailer for the Marvels, which coming off of the finale of Secret Invasion, which we will talk about next week. Nick Fury is a little busy, has been a little busy, and is going to continue to be a little busy. So, but it's exciting to see these three characters working together. So it's gonna be awesome. So, especially considering I like Carol already, and Monica obviously was pretty awesome in WandaVision, but I'm so excited to see Kamala interact with those two. She's gonna be so much fun. Because I just see so much of myself in Kamala Khan. Obviously the age difference is significant, but just the amount of fangirling, just how much she loves. I mean, she's in the MCU, but she's like, like me, like I just love all the Avengers. So
she's kind of like Coulson a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, and even her actress is like the most adorable little thing. I'm just like, I want to put you in my pocket and keep you, but then she just is so excited when you see her in interviews and stuff, because a lot of seasoned actors are like, okay, this is my job, and I'm gonna be polite and professional and everything. And she's just like, I'm excited to be here, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, don't lose that.
I'm just happy to be
enthusiasm.
included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, don't lose that enthusiasm, kid, because you are sunshine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Marvels will really be here before we know it. So I mean, it's October tomorrow, or not October, August. Goodness gracious.
August. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I don't kind of wish it was October, so that
weather-wise, I wouldn't mind October right now. But
maybe my allergies wouldn't be so bad, but
maybe. Although Alex would be very upset if he had to skip his birthday. So
same here.
Yeah,
that is true. So my allergies wish it was October.
I'm sure.
But no, it's almost August. So yeah, we're not that far from getting the Marvels in November. So, but yeah. So Marvel keeping things going. We got moving on to Star Wars. We got a new trailer for Ahsoka.
Yeah.
We get to see more of the Rebels gang. So I'm very excited. I mean, I love Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and obviously we've seen her several times already, thanks to The Mandalorian. But I'm really excited for the live action Rebels. It's like, Chopper! Sabine!
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know you! I know you! I know you! So, but yeah, Ahsoka drops soon, August 23rd. We're gonna get the first 2 episodes on August 23rd. So keep that in mind. So there is that. And then Doctor Who.
Oh yeah.
Doctor Who. And all over the place. So I really wish this was going to be released by the time Gen Con comes around this weekend, but unfortunately not. So not that I'm not going to stop by Wizards of the Coast and be like, hey, what's the DL on the Doctor Who MTG?
Mm-hmm.
But it just so happens that there was a bit of a Doctor Who presence at San Diego Comic-Con. They had a booth. They're showing off mostly to sell merchandise, which we'll get to that in a moment. Yeah. But apparently they did something, and they showed off a couple of the cards so we could get an idea of what some of the artwork looks like. And she ended up doing 4 cards in the Doctor Who Magic the Gathering. But if you know the art of Karen Hallion, which she does, you've probably seen her art. She does a lot of she's got a whole series of Disney princesses encountering the TARDIS.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
love her that.
Or I had the Elsa in the TARDIS t-shirt. I don't know if it's survived several moves, but it's somewhere. And I know Shalane has a bit of a girl crush on Karen Allen. So
Yep.
There you go.
So so Karen, they shared her art for Missy's card, but she confirmed on her Facebook that she did 4 cards.
Nice.
So,
okay.
But she did not say what the other ones were. So
will be a surprise.
Yes. But I was like, I don't know if I'm actually going to go back to playing Magic the Gathering, but I want the damn cards.
Oh, yeah, same here.
Do I need them? No.
Do I
But you
want
to
them?
look
Yes.
at
Do I
them
want them?
and have them.
Absolutely.
I mean, shoot, I bought a deck of tarot cards because it was based on fairy tales, and not that I like really am into tarot or anything, but I'm like, these are so cool. The art is amazing, and I love it. And it also came with a book about each of the fairy tales and folk tales. It was like stories from around the world. So it was like, I love this art, and I just need to own it. So it's a bit like buying art. Like, you go down Artist Alley and you're like, I need all these. I don't actually need them, but I need them. They're so needy.
That is exactly it. So I just wish that they were something that I could get when I go to Gen Con this weekend. It's like, no, it's not out yet.
No. Like, your timing is horrible.
Yes.
Somebody's timing is. I don't know whose, but somebody.
Yeah. So there's that. And then, if my wallet isn't sad enough as it is, Big Finish. God love them having a sale.
Yep.
70% off Terry Nation related.
Which
audios.
means quite a bit of Dalek stories.
Yes. Yeah. For those who don't know who Terry Nation is, for some reason, he's the reason we have the Daleks. So yeah, but he has ties to some other Big Finish IPs as well. There's some Blake 7 in there.
Yep.
But yeah, there's the Dalek universe,
which I have listened to, and it is quite good.
Yeah, Dark Eyes 1 through 4.
Yes, awesome.
So if you've not listened to Dark Eyes yet, it's 70% off.
Yes.
No code.
Highly worth yeah.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. The War Doctor 1 through 4. The War Doctor Begins 1 through 4. The Time War 1 through 4. The Gallifrey Time War 1 through 4. Doctor Who Unbound, Doctor of War 1 and 2. So yeah. So if you were wanting to catch up with the War Doctor, the Time War, or Dark Eyes, now would be the time to do it. It's 70% off.
Also, the Doctor Who Unbound, they're a lot of fun. They are like,
yes.
I mean, in as much as Doctor Who throws canon out anyway, these like really are just like, the Doctor is played by a completely different actor who never played him on TV, and it's high quality fanfic. We'll just call it that. So it's
Doctor Who's version of What If, kind of.
Pretty much. It might. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but like David Warner plays the Doctor in one of them.
Yes.
How can you go wrong with that? In my humble opinion. And I'm trying to remember. I always think of David. You lovely man.
Yeah. So 70% off. No code required. Just go to Big Finish and find the proper links to those specific audios. And some of those, if you want downloads, the downloads are there, but that also includes some physical media for some of them. There are CDs available for some of them, and actually with the Dalek universe, they have a vinyl. So if you want to do Big Finish and vinyl, you can do that. So
okay, I have to go on a slight tangent here because it just blew my mind today. So for the summertime, the library will do teen interns. It's basically the teen we offer summer jobs to teens. And so we have 2 interns that just they help us out with just some extra stuff, whatever's going on. And we have 2 of them. So they were helping me clean up after story time today, and I could hear them chatting. And one of them was like, yeah, and I got this turntable for my vinyl, and I'm just like, you're like still in high school, and you're talking about vinyl and record player turntables. I'm like, what decade am I in?
Yes.
I'm just like, I mean, those 2 are. I mean, the girls that we have are adorable. I'm just like, it was just like, you're like 17, and what the heck? So yeah, it was just sort of, I had a moment.
In the words of the 11th Doctor, vinyl is cool.
Yes, that is true.
I have a vintage turntable from the 60s. So
Ooh.
it's all good. I don't own any Big Finish in vinyl. May need to change that. 70% off.
Now is the time.
Yeah. So meanwhile, while you're listening to those, while you're waiting for the next anniversary specials, Big Finish, whatever we're calling those, stories to be released, we have some info on the next two. So the one available starting next month, I don't know what date they're releasing these, if they're doing it at the beginning of the month or what. So they're just saying August 2023. But the next in the 60th anniversary series is it's a Sixth Doctor. So of course, my interest is immediately piqued. So this one is Two's Company, and it's the Sixth Doctor with Jackie Tyler and Lady Christina D'Souza.
This is going to be interesting.
And Harry Sullivan.
I can't wait. This is going to be some
I mean, they had me at Sixth Doctor and Jackie Tyler.
Right, yeah. To throw in Harry Sullivan and Christine D'Souza, I mean, whoo, boy howdy. This is
oh my God, the amount of sass between Jackie and the Sixth Doctor is going to be amazing.
Yes, I can't wait.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
It's going to be glorious.
Oh my God, I can't. Oh my God. Oh,
Rachel might not survive this.
I might not. I might not. So, oh goodness. Right now, that might be going to the top of my list for my birthday episode next year.
Sounds good to me. I won't be opposed to listening to that again.
Yep. So, and then the release for September is our 10th Doctor, David Tennant, with Missy, Michelle Gomez, and the Paternoster Gang.
I can't wait for that one. That's gonna be
that one.
So Madame Vastra, Strax, and Jenny Flint.
That one I pre-ordered because I was like, want it, need it, gotta have it.
Yeah. And a version of the First Doctor. So voiced by Stephen Noonan. So
okay.
So but yeah. It's like you've got, oh my God. Honestly, I mean, her David Tennant's Doctor is going to probably struggle with Missy, but I'm here for the Paternoster Gang and Missy, especially Strax.
Oh yeah. Or Madame Vastra and Missy.
Oh, Madame Vastra is not going to put up with any of Missy's shit
that's
at all.
That's why I'm kind of waiting for the knockdown drag out for that one.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's so good.
And how much do you want to bet that Jenny's going to try to have to interfere, and then Missy decides to flirt with Jenny, and Vastra's going to get all up in her grill? I can see that happening.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but that is my wife.
Yeah, the producer said the only way to describe the recording, especially with David and Michelle, was joyous. So yeah, it's I'm just some of these pairings that they're coming up with this series, I just can't. I just
pairings
can't.
that we didn't know that we needed in our lives.
I know. It's like, this is the pairing I did not know I needed, but I'm so glad we're getting it. So yeah. But oh my god, I'm going to be eagerly watching the Big Finish website starting tomorrow for when when that 6th Doctor Jackie can be downloaded.
You're gonna be hitting refresh. Where is it?
Oh my god, I'm dying. I haven't even heard anything yet, and I'm dying. Oh, Big Finish. Oh, I love you and hate you. And speaking of
daily.
Yeah, speaking of David Tennant at San Diego Comic-Con and thankfully YouTube, we now know what this incarnation of the Doctor sonic screwdriver is going to look like, and it's now for sale also because of course that's the reason that, like I said, big Doctor Who had a presence at Fandom Christmas to sell stuff. So,
Pretty much.
like the new 14th Doctor Sonic.
I love the design.
It's very much a blend of several past Sonic screwdrivers. I think the video that they did for it is really cool.
Oh yeah.
Where they start inside the Sonic. It's like they give us a chance to see what the inner workings of the Sonic screwdriver are like. Really cool.
Yes.
So cosplayers at the ready
on that one.
Yep. So now all the Sonic the cosplayers that are planning on doing the 14th Doctor can be ready. So, excuse me. And last but certainly not least, we got an epic. I love that they're doing these. That they're not just being like, hey, here's a classic Doctor season now out on Blu-ray with a bunch of extra features. Like they're doing like these cinematic like videos to reveal. So we got our season 20 announcement for the Blu-ray fancy schmancy box set with a reunion of sorts. Ish.
Yeah.
Don't want to necessarily spoil the video. But yeah, we get to see a reunion of sorts with Tegan and Nyssa. And unfortunately also the Mara.
Which I wanted them to bring the Mara back for a really long time.
I don't think Tegan wants you to bring the Mara back.
Well, no, but I always loved it. I love the concept as a villain, which is one of my favorites. And Big Finish has used it a couple of times, and it's to wonderful, great effect. But I'm just like, oh, this is nice. So yes, this video, it's a good time.
Yeah. So this is during Peter Davidson's era. So I mean, it's season 20, but it's also the 20th anniversary year of Doctor Who when this season aired. So this is when we get the 5-ish Doctors. So
right.
Yes.
We get the 5 Doctors with a wax Tom Baker.
Yep.
So this was kind of a big deal year.
Yep.
During Peter Davison's run because it's an anniversary year for the show.
Yes.
So yeah, this is a big box set. It is 9 discs.
Ooh.
In this box set.
I think that's the biggest one yet, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Believe you are right.
Yeah.
In the words to quote Tony Stark, I need it.
Yes. Same, yes.
Well, I know you need it, Chrissy. He's your doctor.
Oh, yeah.
So
but I still want it for reasons too. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
And
so
shush.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
so
is the box art is nice. I like that.
So there's 7 stories, all have been remastered to the best of their abilities. including the original film for the Five Doctors.
Nice.
So it includes special features, including the Five Doctors 40th anniversary edition, because it's been 40 years since the Five Doctors. It's the 60th anniversary this year. Imagine that.
It's funny. It's an anniversary year, so we're having an anniversary for an anniversary special. In addition to it being the anniversary year of the show as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep. So it's got the entire anniversary special with updated special effects, plus commentary with Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, and Mark Strickson. Updated 2023 special effects exclusive to the Blu-ray on Snake Dance and Enlightenment. Behind the Sofa.
So they updated them even further than the DVD releases.
I guess. So Behind the Sofa, which is on pretty much every DVD / Blu-ray. Very, very fun segment on all of them. So, everyone. 7 episodes of Behind the Sofa with Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Sarah Sutton, Janet Fielding, Mark Strickson, Katie Manning, and Sophie Aldred.
Nice.
Yeah. An interview with Janet Fielding and Sarah Sutton. Some of the crew goes to Amsterdam to revisit some filming locations. There's some of this in the when they start talking about the different features. Look Who's Driving joined Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, and Sarah Sutton on a hilarious European road trip.
Oh boy.
This is the 3 of them together in a car. And
boy.
They're just taking the piss out of each other, depending on who.
That's gonna be something.
Mostly on Peter because he's driving.
This is what I picture. I picture Peter and Janet sniping at each other, and Sarah is just sitting there going like, "Okay, you two have a gummy."
Right? Yeah.
Like
Peter, do we need to have you pull over and I do the driving?
Like you don't look at each other. You don't. It's like, stop fighting, you two.
Don't make me turn this car around.
Pretty much. It's like, I'm driving, Pete. Stop it.
Mm-hmm. Like, why am I so friends with you after 40 years?
Those three together are a trip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see. When Janet met Martin, Janet Fielding chats with Martin Clunes 40 years on from his appearance in Snickadouts.
Yes, he was the not really a prince. I can't remember what he was exactly, but he was the noble, the young, bored noble who got infected with the Mara, and he was just creepy.
Making the King's Demons, the cast returns to the castle location. Behind the scenes look at making the trailer that we're talking about. This is cool. Longleat celebration footage, a previously unreleased look at the iconic 1983 convention, plus panels featuring Peter Davison, Tom Baker, Patrick Troughton, John Pertwee, and many more.
Oh, nice.
That's really cool.
Now, because I know they had footage of that Longleat celebration on the Five Doctors DVD, but it says previously unreleased, so this has me intrigued.
Mm.
But yeah,
they probably found more of it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Or was able to remaster what they had.
Episodes. Yeah. The eternal search for missing episodes. Like, well, we didn't find the Crusade, but
we've got convention footage from 40 years ago. How's that?
Like, okay, that's fine. We'll use that.
That's a big deal. I mean, it's kind of a big deal now when the doctors come to conventions, but I mean, then, especially considering. I
mean,
I think it was not long after
a thing, but back then, but not to the extent they are now.
Mm-hmm.
And to see a panel with with John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton.
Yeah, I think these may be their last
involved.
Cons appearances.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah, Patrick Troughton died 4 years later.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so these things, it's like, yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Oh yeah.
There's a bunch of behind the scenes footage, Arc of Infinity, Snake Dance, 5 Doctors. Gotta love Arc of Infinity because Colin Baker shoots Peter Davison.
I believe Colin Baker he was on the commentary track for Arc of Infinity. That's a fun commentary to listen to if it's the same one as what's on DVD.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm looking at this. I'm like, I need this.
Yeah.
Like I still have all my Doctor Who DVDs. Jared kind of thinks I'm crazy, but I'm like, but they have them. And now all this stuff's coming out on Blu-ray. And I'm like, I don't think I want to sell my DVDs. I'll get the Blu-rays and I'll just hang on to everything because who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Like, stuff gets lost and stuff gets not released, and it's like, I'm just gonna hang on to all of it.
Yep.
Call me a hoarder if you must.
Yep.
Nope.
And I'm sure my children will sell it and make a buck when I die. It's like, we'll use it to pay for the funeral. But it makes me happy, okay? I still have it. Anyway. So yes, this Blu-ray set, it looks great, and there's a lot of good stuff on there. And like I said, the box art, I like it. They did a good job. Whoever did that box art. I mean, it's similar to the other Blu-ray box sets that they've done, but it just I like it, and not just because it's my doctor, but that does help.
More convention footage.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. With Peter Davison and Janet Fielding shot during production of the season. New sound mixes, some HD photo galleries, stuff out of the archive. There's a PDF archive that includes scripts and production files. So that's really cool.
So the real dedicated nerds can go through that and enjoy that, which I can neither confirm nor deny that I will be combing through all that stuff.
So, yeah, lots of good stuff. I mean, it's 9 discs, so there's a reason it's 9 discs.
They gotta stuff it full of stuff.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Chrissy's like, I know what I'm asking for Christmas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, okay, I gotta find the Amazon links, put it on my wish list, and this is what I want. I mean, there might be a few other things I want, but this is what I want, man.
Yeah. It's like 9 discs. Look at the value.
Well, of course. Hold on, I'm looking at it. Find it and put it on my wish list.
So yeah, not only we have.
So yeah, so that's quite the truckload of goodies coming out. Stuff. So
imagine how much we'd have to cover if we'd had a proper Fandom Christmas.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just sitting here thinking like, well, I guess we're glad all the US based Hollywood types were unable to come, because then we could then Doctor Who got a little more attention. I don't know. It probably doesn't affect them since it's a different union, but oh well. Here we are. Sorry, I'm like, I gotta find this Amazon link because it wasn't showing up if I just searched it up. If I go to the BBC website, maybe I'll find it. Hey, you. Unless it's just a UK Not in the US quite yet. I will be watching. Come on. Anyway, anything else we want to cover or talk about, or?
No, I think that's sufficient.
All right, yeah, I think we're
There's
good.
a big finish is about done me in, so
Pretty much. So
they always do.
Go give Big Finish your pennies because they do good work.
Yeah.
And
at 70% off, you can give me even more of your pens.
Yes. It's a good deal. So anyway, well, if our listeners have anything they want to chime in about, whether it's something that you saw out of San Diego Comic-Con, such as it was, or another piece of news that we might have missed, you can send us some feedback, or if you just want to say hi. And all of a sudden I decided to start coughing, so hold on. Please hold.
We're just so excited, we can't contain it.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, Sorry, I'm back now. Okay. Feedback. You can send us feedback to our email address, which is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. And you can also visit our website, which is thefivishfangirls.com. Sorry, it's been 2 weeks, and there's been a lot going on in these last 2 weeks. The brain is done. So yes, thefivishfangirls.com. That has links to our social media. You can leave comments, check out our show notes and things, and also there are places where you can support the show, which helps us out a lot, keeping this podcast on the download feeds. And we have a Patreon and a merch shop, so check that out if you feel so inclined. And as always, we thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting and commenting and feedbacking and all that great stuff, because it makes it so much more fun, and we love hearing from you guys. So peace out, and stay frosty, especially in this very, very hot, although now I think it's raining here, which I wish it would just downpour, because this little sprinkles get it humid, and I'm a desert rat. I don't do well in humidity.
Yeah. So, and yeah, definitely make sure you are following our socials.
Yes.
Preferably the Instagrams, and probably Twitter, X, whatever the heck it's called now. It still says Twitter under the name of the app, so it's gonna be Twitter, kind of, you know, just like if any place you've lived where they've changed the name of something and you refuse, like the Indiana folks, you know what I'm talking about. It's always going to be Deer Creek. That's all there is to it. So
yeah, and if you're Salt Lake based, it's the Delta Center. Don't let them tell you any different. Oh, they are changing it back to Delta Center, so yay!
Yay!
Like, you finally got the message.
Just like in Milwaukee, the Pfizer people are getting used to it. We still refer to it. Most people I know, the old Bradley Center.
I know, it's like you can't just change names willy-nilly, but yeah. So anyway, but yes, we're on the website formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, because I will be at Gen Con this weekend.
Yeah, so yes, follow those. Rachel will be updating and sharing all the goodness and fun things, and we will all be sitting here stewing in our jealousy, but that's okay, because I wouldn't have the money to go anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody, take care of yourselves. And
you can be jealous until my feet are screaming, and then you're gonna be like, serves you right. So. And
you'll be like, no regrets, except for the feet, but no regrets.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my. Well, I think with that, that's a good way to get back in the swing of things. And we shall sign off for this week.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. If you see me hobbling in the hallways of the Indianapolis Convention Center, just give me a thumbs up for encouragement that I can make it to my car at the end of the day Sunday.
Or maybe offer to give her a piggyback ride.
Or that. Or throw me in a wheelbarrow. At that point, I will not care.
Thank you for listening to the Fiveish Fangirls. Please visit thefiveishfangirls.com for details on how to further support the show, along with information on our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back. We love our Fiveish fam and appreciate all of your feedback, shares, and encouragement. Remember to keep letting your geek flag fly.